between them. One was doing heavy commercial work, the other was doing public service broadcasting. And the funding models are different. So we need to be clear on what we want GBC to become. And I respectfully reject the invitation to sit in my office and find it. I think that the best approach is a concerted approach. You have former staff, some of who have appealed to me. They have interesting views. You have current staff. You have people who are sitting on the outside and are looking at it and are saying GBC can be turned around to do something bigger than it is doing. I think we need to get all of these views together and in the end have clarity that this is the blueprint of the future of GBC. And we've consulted everybody in doing. And when we do that and I proceed to get government blessing for it, and we know that this reorganization is going to cost X or Y or Z, this is what it means in terms of how much government will put into it or how we are going to make that money available, then we're able to work on, is it a 3 or a 5-year reorganization program? GNA or colleagues, they are starting it. And I believe that GBC, you can do so. So today, part of my conversation with NMC boss is that in the next about 10 days, we should be able to put this committee in place. Committee that will have representation from you and your unions and other experts from all over the place to examine, for example, the work that was done between 1999 and 2001 in an attempt to reorganize GBC that never saw the light of day, to examine that one, to examine the contemporary challenges and opportunities and come up with that guidance. If it means revoking the old GBC law, making a new enabling legislation or whatever, then we think through it and do it. And that is what government wants to do with GBC. So I'm not here to tell you that we are going to go left or going to go right. I'm here to tell you that we have to sit together and agree on what we are going to do for the future. Now, in saying so, it brings me to 2 comments that were made. One said the board chairman, respected HR practitioner, and we thought that when he came in, things would transform. Another said, Honorable Minister, with your background, we were hoping that once you took the saddle, things would transform. My dear brothers and sisters, transformation of a public entity like GBC will not lie in the hands or the mouth of one board chairman or one minister. It takes a collective effort. And let us tell ourselves some truths here. We know that in dealing with GBC in particular, if you are not careful and you get into entanglements with union, etc., nothing will be achieved. True or false? True or false? I like to be open and clear and straightforward with you here. You would notice that in my last term, and even in this term, I have adopted the strategy that state-owned media are independent and there are no-go areas for politicians. If I'm coming to visit you, if I'm going to engage with you, I will not do so without the National Media Commission at the table. But you also must adopt a certain attitude that we want to work with all stakeholders to improve the system. It ought not to be we against them. We are union, we want this, and we are this, we want that. We must agree that we are in a difficult situation together. I don't like what I see at GBC. 31-year-old fire raided building still sitting there with doors locked. Whatever reason, I don't know. You have wooden buildings on your premises, empty, dilapidated. They are health hazards. You have, I dare say, squatters even on your premises. But you are an independent entity, more or less. I can't come in and bulldoze my way and start making those transformational changes you are looking. You yourself will go on demonstration against me. True or false? So it is important for us to sit together and agree that we want to transform GBC. And to agree on the changes that we want to make to see the future of GBC. So it is in that respect that I'm happy at the approach the NMC is making. And NMC chairman, can I make a promise on your behalf that in about 10 days we can announce the committee? Chairman has committed that about 10 days we can announce the committee. Please do give him a big round of applause. And it is my expectation that this committee, working together with all of us, will agree on what we want to do with the future of GBC, how much it will cost. And just like how your sister state-owned media organizations are allowing themselves to be transformed, we will do so and transform. I'm sure when you see your colleagues are graphic, you are happy. You are happy when you see your colleagues are graphic. GBC can do even better than graphic. With what the Ghana News Agency is putting on the table, if you start seeing a GNA channel on whether DSTV or other platforms that are leading economic and business news like CNBC Africa is doing and pushing, I'm sure you would want to be better than them. But it takes a certain opening up and admission that we want to work together to transform the organization. And that's the kind of partnership that I'm looking for from you. Now, on the specific matter of DTT, I agree that a conversation needs to take place between us and our sister organization on the other side on how to streamline that relationship. You gave up assets. You were initially under the impression that you were going to run DTT, but the government policy was made that you are not going to be the ones to run DTT, and that DTT will run an entity on its own. There's even a conversation about whether that is also a state-owned media entity, properly so-called, and if so, NMC should have superintendents over it. All of that is going on. But I agree that at the minimum, a proper conversation and agreement needs to go on about the kind of assets you have given off and the relationship between you and whether it's Gridco ECG that's taking some of your assets in some places or DTT and its operation. And I commit to you that I will charge or I will spearhead that conversation with our colleagues on the other side so that GBC gets its due from that relationship with DTT. The question about sustainable funding, I think, will come under what we agree together when we sit down to this reorganization exercise and we agree on what to do with sustainable funding. Is it the digital access fund that is being proposed under the DTT policy? Or is it the public service broadcasting fund that is being proposed under the new broadcasting bill? Or is it both? Or is TV license still relevant? We will agree on it as part of that exercise that we're about to go through. You've raised issues about your internal management, internal growth, staff promotions. Let me quickly say something about staff promotions. We work, for example, at the ministry with the detail of the compensation budget that you bring us, which will include all of these plus allowances. And then we'll go to Parliament. And Parliament will see what has been approved and then we'll work with. So I think it's incumbent on you to internally bring forward those details through management, and then we are in a position to act on that one. But I think one of your colleagues responded quite clearly that because of the scheme of service that you are operating now, he is of the view that it is what is translating into all of these internal difficulties. And I saw many of you nodding and agreeing when he was making that submission. If that is the case, then I guess the answer is in the question. That is where we'll have to turn our attention and see how we can get some quick resolution of it so that we can get some results. So for me this morning, I am humbled by what I've seen, having gone around with my colleagues. I'm humbled by what I've heard, but I think that it does not lie in one person's mouth to say that this is where we are taking GBC. It doesn't lie in your mouth as union members. It doesn't lie in my mouth as minister. It doesn't lie in the hands or the mouth of the NMC. We are all stakeholders in this enterprise, not so? And so we should all come to this exercise in good faith that we want to open up and allow ourselves to be reorganized and to be transformed. And if we do so, we will be able to become like what Graphic has become or what GNA seeks to become and compete favorably in contemporary times. I want to thank you for the reception you've given us, and I look forward to working with the board and management to execute the charge that is ahead of us. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We're grateful.
Alhaji ABF Hussaini wants to make a quick comment.
Okay. We are told that Alhaji ABF Hussaini wants to make a quick comment. Meantime, just after this debate, we are requesting all staff remain seated because the union leaders want to meet you and have a discussion with you just after we are done with this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. A question was asked about the role of Parliament in helping GBC meet some of the issues related to promotions and other matters. Our people have a saying that when the landlord has eloquently spoken about the story of his house, you don't ask a caretaker for confirmation. Fortunately for us today, we have two landlords, the minister and the chairman of the National Media Commission, which pretends over state-owned media. I can just say very briefly that we on the Communications Committee of Parliament, and this is my third term on that committee, I can say that, especially with my benefits as a media man, I spent almost 3 decades in the media, and so I consider myself a media person. I have seen the excruciating conditions under which our colleagues work, and so you don't need to show an indigent the way to his house. We know it. So the Communication Committee has been very, very sympathetic, and like the minister said, the fundamental problem is that GBC today, when they are GBC today is like a bat. It is not a mammal and it is also not a bird. When they are classifying birds which fly and behave as birds, the bat is there. But when they are also talking about mammals which have teeth and also deliver, the bat is also there. And that is why it brought to the fore the issue of public service broadcasting. What to do with it. And I'm sure the minister will tell you at the committee level what we have tried to do and are still doing, including part of the broadcasting law that we are still talking about, which is here to come. But also, when the estimates of the ministry as a whole come together with GBC, and your Director General is here, the budget is brought from the ministry after the ministry and the GBC management have sat down and decided what goes into the budget. So at that level, when it comes to us as members of parliament, it is not so segmentalized as to indicate that for this particular decision on end of service benefits, you have a leeway to deal with it as it is. It is management that makes the proposal, go to the ministry. Ministry then has an interaction with Ministry of Finance, and then they then bring us the estimates. So that is where we come in. But I can say without any iota of hesitation that this committee has been very, very sympathetic and very considerate of GBC in particular. And we've argued strenuously on the floor that even the basis of your survival, which is the testing of your IGF, we have argued that the Minister of Finance should even give you the full complement, the 100% complement of your IGF, to anchor you to be able to meet your core mandate. And not only that, that public service broadcasting, and I'm very happy, and I would stand here not because the minister is here, I would say for the minister that you deserve to give him all the support that he deserves to in this particular matter. Because for the first time in a very long time, we have gotten public service broadcasting by state entities, including the Flagstaff House and government. They do it and they don't pay. If you were to quantify how many times to cover the president, precious airtime, and all of these go without being paid. And for the first time, I think today the ministry itself is paying for broadcast, even at the level of the information ministry. So we're making some headway. All these monies, and if BC is able to take custody of all these monies from public service broadcasting and others, you'll be so well anchored that I am telling you that your conditions of service will improve, that other people will start running to GBC. So it should be possible for this to be done. I just want to say that all of us, as has been said, need to pull together. We all know that the money we have been given, you cannot ask somebody, no matter how brave he is, to go and rise a lion with his bare hands. He must be anchored, and I'm sure that is what we are trying to do. And so that one entails a collective effort. But I can assure you that you have in the Parliamentary Select Committee on Communications a very strong ally that is willing to work together with the various stakeholders, of course, led by the National Media Commission, to achieve the results and make GBC a better place. I would love one day to come to GBC and see GBC behave like transformed and behave like the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, and other allied institutions which engage in public broadcasting, because you are doing fantastic for this nation. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Our union leader, Samnat, wants to make a quick and a brief comment before we all leave. Thank you. Samnat.
Thank you very much. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon. I want to make a quick intervention. We, as a staff of GBC, having understood the airline, the responsibility and the role of GBC as public service broadcaster, we are not in doubt. Our challenge and difficulty is the funding. Ghanaians need a lot from GBC, but how to help GBC to come up with these programs that they are expecting from us, that's where the difficulty is. Again, we as a union, we have never been opposing any decision that we felt it will yield to the development and growth of GBC. But our hope is that we don't hope any committee that will reorganize GBC, GBC will find itself in the hands of a private entity. That signal has been dead over the years, and that has been the fear of the staff. That anytime government over the years, anytime they say sometimes the word is restructuring and reorganization, it becomes semantic. The idea is how to downsize the staff. We have not done enough evaluation. Additional job has come with this digital terrestrial regime, but this has not been taken into consideration. So we are not sure if there's a committee to look at the work of GBC. We are very suspicious that it is a way of privatizing or diversing GBC interest to a private interest. We also asking that our budget has never been forthcoming. Last year election coverage, government has never made any budgetary allocation so far as the election coverage is concerned. We held a meeting, we were expecting that, but our own IGF, through the dedication from our staff, that made the election coverage very successful. Honorable Minister, a humble appeal that it's the government that gives a bigger business, government to redirect some of these businesses to GBC to develop. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I didn't intend to come back, but I think there are one or two things I need to quickly put on the table. I have no interest in privatizing GBC. I cannot see how a public service broadcaster is privatized, and I think I've been quite clear with that. And if there are any suspicions that are the ones that cause this apprehension to change, I think you should dismiss those suspicions as quickly as possible. We are both having a conversation, both sides are having a conversation about how to move GBC to the next level. And I've been clear enough to you that it doesn't even lie in my mouth to give a direct answer on the future of it. I think I said that quite clearly. Or I didn't say that. And I said it doesn't even lie just in the mouth of the NMC so to do. I think that we're all stakeholders. We should collectively sit around the table and move forward. So if you continue to harbor a certain apprehension, I think that that will be misguided. Let us come to the table with a spirit of finding what is best for GBC moving forward. I don't have any prior conceptions on how it should be done. But it is finding that expression around the table that allows us to forge an answer moving forward. And I think we should work within that framework. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that sometimes when you have history, you must be guided by history. I understand that before Osagifo became the de facto one-party president, whose name was even inscribed in the Constitution, it was because the local assembly members who were elected, at their first meeting, they voted that every power should be surrendered to the president. And so they became redundant. I think that the National Media Commission does not want to cease from existing. Now, the National Media Commission exists because they are state-owned media. Now, if we privatize all the state-owned media, there will be no relevance and there will be no place for the National Media Commission. And therefore, if there's anybody who has a hunch that an attempt to make the GBC purposely public service is intended to give it to private people, I think that we should rethink. It is important that we do not come to the table with any preconceived notions. Now let us all be open-minded in the deliberations. But it is only when we open our minds that the views that they are going to suggest will not be prejudicial to the interests of anybody. In the first place, GBC belongs to every one of us. Now those of you who are working at GBC should not count it as a right, that you have the right to work at GBC. It is a privilege, and that privilege, we will recognize it when you work hard and you give us good dividend, and we will commend you. We understand working in the public sector is not very easy, especially in the media. And so anybody who has committed 20, 30, 40 of their working life working in an institution like GBC must be commended. Because just as ABA said, between me and him, we have devoted more than 60 years of our life to working at Graphic. Not necessarily because the pay was good, but because some of us felt that you need quality human resource to work in the public sector. Because if every one of us were to go into the private sector, and when we know that it is the state sector that drives the initiative, then we will be tolerant. We may be earning 3, 4 days, 5 days salary, but we will not feel the comfort of what we earn because the state sector will be lacking and the money will not give us the kind of comfort that we are looking for. And so from time to time, individuals have to sacrifice so that the state sector will have the capacity. And when the state sector opens up, nobody can close it. So please, union leaders, be assured that we are not bringing you a fence. We have not killed the bird, removed the feathers, and then we are coming to present it to you and asking you, what bird is this? When we are bringing you the bird, we are bringing you a living bird that you can easily identify that this is a vulture or this is something else. We need your support. We need your cooperation. And sometimes it is important for us workers, leaders, and as workers to understand some of the issues that we discuss. Because, you see, the Parliamentary Select Committee, they have spoken for themselves. But any one of us who takes a little time to read the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana will understand that the structure of our Constitution is that no matter how much any MP cries, they cannot increase anybody's allocation. It is only the government through the Ministry of Finance that can or cannot increase your allocation. Unfortunately, we are not like Parliament. Unfortunately, we are not like the judiciary. That when they submit their budget, nothing will be done without it. When the Speaker just whispered, something was done. And they kept it. The judiciary one, they kept it. So I think at the beginning, the Minister of Information is helping management. And that is a worthy beginning. Where when we cover events for the public sector, we submit a bill to them. I think that is how we must all look to it that we do not allow individuals to profit from where the company must gain. And sometimes that is the problem. And it is important because that's what they tell us, that when you speak to the rotten meat, you should also speak to the cat. Because if the cat does not smell, it may not go near that rotten meat. And so when we want government and those in leadership to do what they are supposed to do for us, we as workers must also do the little things that we need to do so that when we put all that together, at least it will be something. And that we must work for the collective good rather than the individual well-being. Let us make sacrifices. And when we do, And when we are sincere in ourselves, we should not begin to mistrust anybody until they prove to us that they are not trustworthy. In any relationship that begins on a note of suspicion, it is bound to fail. And the fault may not be from the other party, it may be from us. Because we have foreclosed our mind, and we are seeing that these people that we are going to deal with, they are not sincere. Meanwhile, we are not the ones who are not sincere. Let sincerity be the watchword from both the workers and from those of us who are in leadership. We assure you, the National Media Commission has everything to lose if GBC is privatized. And the National Media Commission will do everything within its means to ensure GBC remains in the hands of the people of this country. And then we assure you.
Thank you very much. We're grateful. NMC Chair. Sarah Ofori, would you please help us with a vote of thanks? Thank you very much.
We thank God for this day and we thank God for our lives. Honorable Minister Kojo Nkrumah, we are grateful to you for spending about 3 hours of your precious time and having an open discussion with staff and management of GBC. We thank you, the Parliamentary Select Committee that came with the Honorable Minister, Madam Cynthia Morrison and Alhaji Fuseni. We thank you all for making time to come and have an open discussion and also address some of the issues that are the heart of staff of GBC. We thank you, management. We thank you, the Director General of GBC, for also laying bare our requests and all the challenges we are facing in the last 85 years on the table of our Honorable Minister, and we hope that they would be addressed and they will not be lip service. We thank you all staff for making time to come and listen to the Honorable Minister and his delegation, and also being honest and frank in your presentation, opinions and questions. We hope that it is for the good and transformation of GBC. That's why you are here. We believe your challenges and your needs would all be addressed. We thank you for coming once again, and we hope that when you go back to your office, you won't shelve all that you've gathered here, but you would act upon them to transform GBC for our good. Thank you.
Sarah. Thank you very much. And like I did indicate early on, we stay so we can listen to our union leaders. Thank you very much, Director General. Okay.
Can we have a group photo?
Okay.
Please, the leadership of the union, management, directors, board members, let's have a group photo outside so that we can keep it for the record.
Okay, so please, let's stay and have a conversation. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Please, I'm told we should go inside the yard.
Okay.
For a good view. Thank you.